Hello, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Clinic for Labor. Today, we'll be talking about the workers' rights, work, and the challenges people face in today's modern society, as well as the role of institutions in creating a fairer and more inclusive working environment. It is our great honor to welcome our guest today, Ms. Рита Колумбија, United Nations Resident Coordinator in North Macedonia, a professional with extensive international experience and a long-standing commitment to human rights, sustainable development, and social progress. Ms. Columbiạ, thank you for joining our podcast and welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here, and I appreciate your attention to these issues. They're very important for the country's further development.
Thank you again. To begin with, could you briefly introduce yourself to our audience? Who is Рита Колумбија professionally? What has your international experience been so far? And on what projects are you currently working on?
Thank you. I came to North Macedonia as UN Resident Coordinator in September 2024. It's about 1 year and a half ago. But I feel like I'm already Macedonian because I'm so engaged in society, in the life of people here, trying to make sure that United Nations country team as a whole makes visible and meaningful impact on the life of every person here and, of course, on the overall sustainable development of the country. By background, I'm a medical doctor. I'm not an economist, unfortunately. That's why my answers to your questions might be a bit less specific. Mm-hmm. So I hope you will forgive me for that.
No, don't worry.
So I have been in international development field for the past little bit over 25 years. I worked in international non-governmental organizations. I worked for international foundations. And of course, for United Nations, I have been working for the past 20 years. So in different capacities, of course. I used to be representative of specific agency. It's a United Nations Population Fund, where I also worked in this region, in Western Balkans, as well as in Middle East and in Southeast Asia. But now I'm very happy to help United Nations being a resident coordinator in North Macedonia and basically to coordinate the UN country team. We have our cooperation framework that's approved by the government, and of course it fully supports and aligns with the priorities of the country. That's in the nutshell.
Thank you for your introduction. The next point that I would like to talk to you is about the human and the labor rights, which are frequently discussed in your work. So what do you think are the most urgent issues facing the right to decent work today?
That's the right to decent work, again, human rights. And it's important that we will remember that the rights of people, they're not a favor to people, that this is the obligation. Every person has a right, as it is also written in the Charter of United Nations, in the Charter of Human Rights. So I noticed that in North Macedonia, as in some other countries, the informal sector of work is pretty high. I can check up the numbers in my notes, because I was quite taken away with the numbers when I saw them, that it's like 23% going to GDP. But let me check. I finance think at around 23% of GDP. And the ILO, its International Labour Organization, also UN agency, has documented particularly high levels in sector like hospitality. This is alarming. And I'm very happy to see that the government already taken steps to formalize jobs and to reduce the informal employment. Because informal employment, it may sound good and be attractive at the first sight, especially for young professionals, but at the end it's not good. It's not good for people because it doesn't give them the full package of benefits, entitlements, the thing that they can get from the formal employment, a decent work. Overall, I should admit that the country made a huge progress in reduction of unemployment rate altogether. So today we have the historically low unemployment for the country. However, we still the participation, the labor force participation still remain low. It's around 50%, 52.5% probably. So it means that half of the population are not contributing economically to the country development. And most of them are women. And this is my favorite topic. I can speak about it endlessly.
Yeah, so. I think I have another question that I'm going to ask you later.
Yes, then I will keep it for later. So
nice. Thank you for sharing this information with us. Ms. Columбија, the next question that I want to ask you is, how important is the cooperation between institutions, employers, and international organizations in ensuring fair and safe working conditions?
So actually this tripartite, the workers, employers, trade unions, the government, this is a foundation for the open economy. It's foundation for the fair as well economy. And it's important, the role of communication and the role of trust between these sides is extremely important. Of course, international partners, I will speak about United Nations team specifically. We have few agencies who work a lot in this field, and the leading agency will be ILO, as I mentioned before. So they do everything possible to create a safe environment for communication between these parties, and of course also for reaching consensus. That's important, because when there is no consensus between employees through the trade unions and employers and the government, then the economy may just be stalled and not being developed. So that's why the role of international partners in many cases becomes very important. Also do as mediator and bring in international laws, reminding about international priorities and international practices that the government and trade unions and the employers can consider and follow. So.
Thank you. The future of work digitalization, new occupations, and changes in the labor market is the topic we frequently hear about. In your opinion, how do these developments really affect workers and their rights?
Well, it's the topic. The first, it's funny thing. Sometimes I ask AI the questions about AI. For example, how AI will affect certain professions, But it all depends how we're going to use AI, how we can use digitalization. We can use it for the benefits and for prosperity of people and the countries, or we can use it with different intentions. So first, it's the purpose, how we use AI. AI is just a tool, and we are creating these tools.
Exactly.
So we can control these tools. We can have a specific governance that will be acknowledged by all partners. So for me, the most important that it will be human rights-based use of AI, because sometimes if we rely on AI 100%, let's take human resources, right? Like recruitment, for example, easy area. And yes, certain things can be given to AI to run, like selection of selections of the candidates, what are the questions going to be, and so on and so forth. The final decision should be done by the manager. But even in those initial steps that we rely on AI, we have to, in a way, humanize the approach, which means the approach has to be human rights based and not just be an algorithm behind it. Otherwise, we can lose opportunities with good workers, potential candidates. In many other cases as well, as I said, AI has two sides, and it all depends how we manage it, how we govern AI. In June, there will be the first AI governance meeting in I think it's in Oslo. So anyway, in Western Europe, but it's done with the support of United Nations. So United Nations right now is actively engaged in this conversation about AI and its impact on different overall on well-being of population, but specifically within the labor market and also regarding human resources. Just a few weeks ago, I saw another document coming from ILO where this subject was very well, debated, and also some recommendations were given to that. So,
thank you for your answer. Women are increasingly present in the public and professional life, yet many challenges remain. So, how do you see the position of women today, and what needs to be done to achieve better equality and opportunity?
You know, in North Macedonia, I met so many women who are, sorry, dear men, but there are so many women who are much better professionally than men. I'm not comparing anything, but I'm saying that there is no lack of merit, so that women have similar capacities, similar knowledge, maybe even better expertise and everything. But then how come we have very low participation of women in politics, for example? We have, 82 mayors, municipality, we have only 4 women. So even percentage, it doesn't make sense. So in parliament, thanks God we have quota for parliament, but we still a bit like 1 or 2% lower the quota. So my point is, what's happening? Why women? And it's not like women are not allowed. So because whenever I speak with policymakers, with decision makers, no, there is definitely support. So for women participation, but what is happening? Why we are not at the front line of politics, why we are not at the front line of legislation, like setting the laws, shaping the system in the countries, even businesses. So I also observed that there are not that many female business owners and boards, how we call it, board of directors, right? The chairs of the board of directors. So. And that's the question. Some people say it's cultural. Well, culture changes with us. It still have roots. We still remember our traditional food. We still remember our observance of certain holidays. But the way how we treat each other in the society has changed over hundreds of years. So then it's not only the cultural thing, I believe. It's not only opportunities for women, because we may argue that there is a law on equal opportunities which is being implemented. Opportunities are there. And if you look at education, I'm going to speak long about it. It's my favorite topic. Get ready for that. So, but we look at education sector, right? Girls on the top always. We have, definitely there is no discrepancy between gender parity between boys and girls. So universities, same thing. The gap becomes obvious after the higher education. So girls get married and they decide to stay home. So, and that's where the opportunities are not enough. That's where we need support system. We need strong care economy. And that's your next question, I guess, about care economy that I can talk now.
You can continue.
Okay?
Yeah, you can continue. I don't have to answer.
So, but my point is that opportunities are not, just have opportunities, not enough. You also need to have support system. And here we go from gender equality to gender equity principles.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to go that direction, but I'm just saying that to get women into labor market, we need to have a strong care services for women to help them to become to have career at this, to contribute to their communities, to contribute to economy of their country, or overall development of their country, at the same time to continue be a good mother, good daughter, good sister, good wife, whatever she wants to be. So for that, they need support. It's impossible to do everything by one person in 24 hours. So I'm not saying that, like, it's not like 50, I don't want to say, okay, it's great when men helps. It's great when men help. And in many families, especially modern families with younger generation, I can see that both spouses, they take kind of equal share. But even with this equal share, it's not enough. There should be system-based support, not just personality, willingness to help your spouse. So, and that's where we need to be more purposeful, to prioritize care economy in the country. Today, I was at the opening of a private long-term care facility, which is really a state-of-the-art facility. I was thinking maybe I should come to Macedonia in 10 years and just stay there. But my point is, it may not be affordable and accessible for every single old person who requires specific services. So how can we make this kind of services accessible and affordable for everybody in the country? And that's where private and public sectors needs to become friends and partners and create these partnerships to help each other and to build on each other's strengths. Because at the end of the day, they will take care of people of this country. And aging is growing fast. People live longer, which is a good side, but they're not healthy, which is a bad side, because we never invested in our prevention of sickness, of diseases. Now, if I ask a young person, people here smoke, okay. But I want to believe that young people today in North Macedonia are healthier or following healthier lifestyle than their parents used to do. So at least I can see at my kids when I see them how they care careful about their food and they check the labels on each can.
Yeah, something like that as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking, wow, he can read. So, but we had different. We just ate whatever, we did whatever, and that's why by our 60s we're already not very healthy. And that's where we increase the spending of public health budget. So that's why today we need to think about this care, long-term care, child care. So because tomorrow will be late. Young people will live and they're living in big amounts. So I can look up another number, but if I rely on my memory from between 2006 and today, it's like 36% or 27 and today. 2007 and today, about more than 35% of young people left North Macedonia. So this is scary. It's 1/3 of population, and you're not a big country.
Yes.
So the population here is less than 2 million. It's like one village in a big country. So I don't want to scare you. You are still young and you need to have hopes. But what I'm saying, this is the time today for the young people to start taking care of the country. Because if you don't do it today, tomorrow you will not have place to return. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but this tomorrow can come in 50 years from now if nothing will be done by you. I'm putting all the responsibilities on your shoulders because we are done. My generation, we can only advise. So.
Thank you for sharing these key points with us. My last question for you is there any message that you would like to share with the young people who are just beginning their professional journey and hope to contribute to a better and more just society?
Well, I know this message may not be understood right now by young people, but you still remember it because one day will come that you get it. Always go with your heart. Your heart will never lie to you. Where is your place? Doesn't matter geographically or professionally. If you have to choose between big money and something that you love to do, go with the second one, what you love to do. Because your love will bring you money, 100%. But if you go for money only, your life will be miserable. Trust me. I'm old enough to tell you that that's how it works. Another thing, please be patient, because the change is not happening in one day. And if today you put a seed in the soil, you will not have a flower tomorrow. You will need time. And that's how your career will go. Just be patient and always be kind, because being competitive doesn't mean to be aggressive, okay? So if we give more kindness to each other, we will reach much better and quicker results. Hate speech is something that right now is very common among not only young people, but also any generations, especially when the country goes through transitions, because it's stress. So try not to use hate speech. This is extremely important because we have to respect each other. And I'm not now preaching you. I'm just telling you from my experience. If you respect a person, if you treat the person the right way, you always achieve your goals, always. And the third one, don't give up on your dreams. So no matter, if you have a big dream, Start with small steps, but always keep your dream in your head, because one day it will come true. And you won't even notice how it will happen. But one day you will wake up, you might not be that young, might not be that pretty, maybe with few more kilos on your body. But you wake up and you realize that actually, yes, I did it. And it happened organically. It happened in the way how it was supposed to happen. So yes, we have to work. Yes, we have to try. Yes, we should be thoughtful and accountable for our actions. But at the same time, never give up on your dream and always believe in yourself. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your powerful messages. Ms. Columбија, there are still so many questions who remain unanswered and issues to be raised, but we'll leave that for some other occasion probably.
Sounds great.
Thank you very much for your time and for accepting our invitation to be part of our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Dear all, thank you for staying till the end, and I hope to see you soon in our next episode. Bye.